Hello, I'm Liz Lumley of Finextra, and today I'm speaking to Andrew Tarver of Boldrocket. So my first question is really, what is Boldrocket? And before the camera started rolling, you said Boldrocket is anything right at the moment. So what is it?
So lots of people ask me, what is Boldrocket? And I think the main thing that goes through my head is, why Boldrocket? And that will probably answer the what. So about 18 months ago, as a management team, we kind of sat back and realised that the industry was changing fast. We knew that, everyone knows that. There's no surprise there. Consulting in this industry, financial services, is not easier. It's getting harder month by month, whether the banks are cutting back on spend or whether there's just more people who've got financial services skills available in the market at cheaper prices. And consulting is kind of a dead game, because previously in many years, I think consultants have been brought in at high day rates on failed projects across the industry, and some of that scar tissue is now coming to the fore. So how do we change our view, our approach, and actually look at outcomes? How do you try and create something which is giving the outcome to the bank quicker? And that took me kind of into the world of startups and started to work with some of the new organisations that are out there, which are generally just 3 or 4 kids, who are saying, actually, how do we change the market, challenge the market, solve specific problems? And what it showed me is actually their attitude to failure is something that the financial services industry can learn a huge amount from. And what I mean by that is failure is positive. Fast failure is positive. You don't need tens of millions to go into a project to then say, actually, it didn't work. You need £10,000, £20,000. And learning from that culture of, we can go in, let's test an idea, let's understand something, let's be passionate behind an idea that's really going to change the lives of people potentially. Get behind it, try and build something, test it out, no, it didn't work, next thing, and it kind of repivot or just restart. Banks can learn a huge amount about that because they need to. They haven't got the money to spend anymore. They haven't got the knowledge, the technology skills. They're built on infrastructure which is so old that they can't get away from it. They have thousands of applications and systems, and actually they need to get back to simplicity. They need to get back to solving a problem in a simple way in a short amount of time, or saying that didn't work. So gone are the days of the big tens or hundreds of £1 million programs. They don't work. Every bank knows that, yet they insist on starting a new one probably every other year. What you need to do is start lots of small little projects and then fail them fast, because some of those are going to come through to the fore and be successful. And all Boldrocket is doing is encouraging that. It's kind of bringing some of the startup mentality into some of the projects we're doing, whether we build those assets ourselves with the banks, or the banks build them and we just help incubate, is one of the strategies. But secondly, it's kind of also enlightening our clients of the world is changing. So telling the story, talking about those new disruptive technologies, providing some insight into how it's going to change their world, what they could do differently, how could they link with different types of firms, creating a community, an ecosystem, rather than it being one organisation that dominates. That's gone. And finally, probably kind of the most important from a personal perspective, it's reinventing Capco. So Capco, like every consultancy in this industry, needs reinventing, just like our clients do. And actually the acceptance and the maturity of our business to say, let's go reinvent. The success of Boldrocket in changing the industry will also be the success of it changing Capco, and actually becoming probably the replacement for Capco in that sense. Like changing the way that we look at things, changing the way that we deliver, changing our attitude, our culture, our processes, and actually maybe looking at the industries differently. Is it just financial services in the future, or is there a merging, a blurring of industry lines? Certainly from a personal perspective, a customer perspective, that we're blurring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But I wanted to go back a little bit about why you've taken this entity sort of out of Capco, and you mentioned failure. Is this because you're giving yourself the luxury of possible failure?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a luxury, because I think there's still a mentality of failure is bad from certain people, clients. So if I said Boldrocket had failed, everyone would, well, Tarver, it failed. I actually look forward to failing. Since we started Boldrocket at the beginning of the year and officially launched it on April the 1st, we've created 9 companies. And the idea is to create 9 companies, 9 assets, 9 ideas and bring them to life. By the end of the year, I intend to have created 100, and of which I'm happy that 90 will fail. And that mentality is actually 10 of those will then be successful and we'll take them forward. And then next year, let's try and create 300.
If every startup succeeded, then it would be too crowded a field.
Yeah. So work on the assumption we're not going to succeed on 90% of what we do. We're not going to bankrupt ourselves by doing it, because there's not much to bankrupt. And if we did, it's not the end of the world. I lose my job.
So when something fails, I mean, what happens when you fail?
You just stop. As in, we sit down as a group maturely and go, actually, this isn't working, it hasn't done what we wanted. Do we want to pivot? Do we want to change? Do we want to go in a different direction? Or actually, do we just stop funding it? As in, this isn't working, no one's picking up on it, it doesn't seem to have got the traction we thought, and actually our purpose and our why behind the idea of kicking it off, initiating it, isn't working. So stop. And how many banks need to get used to that mentality of actually what we're doing, just stop. As in, I've always been told, stop digging the hole, put the spade down. As in, sometimes you just need to put the spade down and say, actually, go dig over there.